I'm Miranda.
And I'm Bella.
And welcome back to the Sexy
and Unsupervised
Podcast.
And who is this?
Who the heck is this?
Wait,
Who do we have
in the
here?
bag?
We got
in the bag.
the king of all, freaking craziest, honestly, most visionary man that I've ever met.
So kind of genuine.
We have Wadan on our podcast.
Butchered my name, did you? Wadan.
Wadan, before we introduce you and we get into, we have to tell you the story of why we call you Wadan.
We have to.
All right.
So the first time that we ever communicated and connected, we followed each other on Instagram, and then you sent me your phone number, and we were gonna have a call, right? And I texted you, and I was like, because your Instagram name is Wadank, because it's your name and your last name initial. So then I go, is your name Wadank? And you're like, no, it's Wadan. And I was like, oh, okay. So now every time
Wadan.
we talk about you, we call you Wadank behind your back.
But we know your real name is
Yeah,
Wadan,
we know your name
so.
Wadan. Okay.
Well,
And the people know his name is Wadan.
Wadan.
No K. Yeah.
We're over here offending him already.
no, I feel like that's a sure and fast way for me to weed people out who actually know me versus who
Yeah.
It's
found
true.
me from a handle, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just what Don is the American way to say it. It's Wadan, but yeah, we just used to it now.
Yeah.
Anytime we
Used to
answer,
it.
everybody says Wadan. I don't know. So we just have to roll
He
with
just
it
rolls
now.
with it.
Yeah.
Roll with it. So yeah.
So we have a visionary here today, and we wanted to bring Wadan on our podcast to really speak about what's going on in our community. Obviously, we're local here in Arizona, and Wadan is super important to our community, and he has a story to share. So before we really dive into things, Wadan, thank you for coming
Yes,
on
thank
Sexy and
you.
Unsupervised, and
Um,
giving us the opportunity to experience your vulnerability in this, format.
Yeah.
We're super excited, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, why you chose to come specifically on our podcast, because there's other podcasts you could have chosen,
Yeah, well, about me, I mean, I moved to America 10 years ago. I was born and raised in Pakistan. I'm an Afghan by my ancestry. And yeah, I just moved to America 10 years ago. It's been quite a roller coaster. Well, first of all, why I chose you guys, because I think you guys are real, authentic people in the community that are they're in the weeds with everybody, and just have this heart for God and have the heart for helping people out and doing something important and special. A lot of people, I think, in your age are either taking odd jobs or just focusing on partying and stuff like that, but you choose to create, and I think there's value and a lot of power to that. So, yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Wadan.
No, I agree. And as we mentioned in our last episode, which thank you so much for all the views. That episode where we did show up and show out about our faith did really, really well. And people connected. We even got some comments on it too.
Yeah.
And people were very inspired. So we've shared a little bit about our pivot in our faith.
Yeah.
And we have our brother in God here,
Yeah.
our brother in Christ, Wadan. So it's, very important for us to connect with people that are similar in that
Like-minded.
sense. And so, yeah, we want to dive into a little bit about where Wadan came from, and hopefully you guys watching this will be inspired and
Get to know a little bit more about him.
Exactly.
Other than just him being so involved in the community.
literally the craziest visionary
in every part of the community you could possibly think of.
ever. Yeah. So let's run it back. Okay. So you mentioned that you were born in Pakistan. You were there for how long?
I was there till my college, which was 24 years.
Okay.
I was 24 years old. I graduated in 2014, and right a month after I graduated, I was in America.
Okay. So how was your time in Pakistan? Like, unpack that for us.
I'm blessed to have the family that I have. I was born in a small town called Quetta. It's like right on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's a province called Balochistan. It's not very it's almost probably New Mexico of Pakistan almost in that sense. And had a great life, went to a good school. My parents just poured a lot into the 5 children that they had. They had lost a son before I was born, so being the first son, that was just, I was very spoiled, to say the least. and yeah, and then from there just traveled around for college to different cities. Ended up in college in Islamabad, which is like the capital of Pakistan. Um, hadn't I'd never thought I knew in my heart that I was gonna be in America. Had zero like possibility or chances or even like thing that would make that happen. But then God made it happen, and yeah, I the only thing I had to do to be in America is take a passport picture, and thanks God, thank to
Yeah.
God, and thank to my parents that we're here, land of opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And what exactly, because did you come to America with your entire family or was it you by yourself?
So it was a progression. The way it worked is my parents had moved, and then my brother, and the way the paperwork works is basically it just takes time, and then
Yeah.
siblings a certain age or kids a certain age just takes longer. But with my application was filed when I was under 18, so it kind of made it smoother. But it
Yeah.
almost take like 5 years. Yeah, and then so my family was here. Funny thing is, I would have ended up in Oregon if I came here 2 months before. But the fact my family had just moved from Oregon to Arizona when I had landed in America, so that's why Arizona's home.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So you've been here for, you said, how many years in America?
So 2014 is when I moved, so almost 10 and a little more than 10 years.
Oh my goodness. So when you moved to Arizona, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking? Like, where was your headspace, your mindset?
This is okay. So the first thought was, I graduated out of college, came to this whole different country. I was a 4.0 student in my college. I was one of the brightest kids in that sense, one of the most popular kids in college and stuff like that. Like, and to come to Arizona and nobody know me and not even return a job application, like I thought I had it all. Like, oh, I have such a great like thing to showcase in terms of a degree and everything, and it was really humbling to just realize, holy moly, like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares like where I'm
Yeah.
from. Like it's a fresh start. And I remember the first job that I took was at a Safeway at a Starbucks, and their English was too fast for me, and lasted like 1 week, so I ended up at a Circle K. And I was cleaning bathrooms, and I told my the girl that I was talking back then, she was in Pakistan, and I told her I was cleaning bathrooms, and she had left me for that. Just because the privilege, and we used to have maids and servants, and my
Yeah.
dad's a doctor in Pakistan, like
Yeah.
we property, land, and whatnot,
Yeah.
and shit ton of cousins.
Big family.
Like big family, yeah.
Yeah,
My mother
yeah.
has 8 sisters, 2 brothers. My dad has 4 brothers, 2 sisters.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just very humbling to then just come here, and just very surprising to see everything, and it felt like almost a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
I felt like I remember going to this interview at Yelp, which was a sales job, and I was like, when you graduate college, you're not looking for a sales job.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
just like, hey, I'm something
Yeah.
better and bigger. And I went to Yelp and I interviewed. And I remember I went to this Yelp interview in a 3-piece suit, like as if I was at a wedding, and everybody was staring at me, and I could tell, like being emotionally intelligent, I could tell their
Yeah.
energy, but nobody
Yeah.
was saying it, but I
Yeah.
know they were laughing at me.
Yeah.
And I remember going into the interview, and she just listened to me, but my English wasn't good enough. Right? Spoke English all my life. I watched movies
Yeah.
and everything, but my accent was still there. I wasn't thinking in English. I was still thinking in my mother tongue. Like, and English was, I had to translate everything to say.
Yeah.
So even though she didn't say anything, but I felt very rejected in that interview. So I remember unconsciously, I was so devastated that I didn't realize at Fashion Square the light was red, and I passed it in a full busy Scottsdale street. But yeah, so that's basically what the experience was. It was just very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
can't even imagine.
I know. And especially coming here already as in this place where it is the culture is very, I don't know exactly the word to use, but like being a minority in this
Yeah.
culture and in this sphere of things like already is hard, but to come from, you know, somewhere else internationally and try to create something here is,
Yeah.
it seems, I mean, I moved here and even that was kind of a culture shock.
Yeah.
And I'm from America.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then you started applying for jobs, started kind of getting into that thing to begin to build a foundation for your life here. How did things go? What was the progression of you trying to settle in? You know, how was that going?
Yeah, it's actually magical. I believe in magic. It's magical because this one day I had a shift at the gas station for 2 hours. In 2 hours, my sister was looking for a house because she was now getting through a divorce. Um, that was in itself devastating. And she had asked me to stay because the realtor was coming. She said, "Why don't you stay while I talk to the realtor? I just need somebody with me."
Yeah.
And I'll call her my spiritual mother, Christina. She was the realtor that pulled up, and I talked to her, and she just saw through me. And I just told, like, me being me, I was like, oh, like, I'm graduate, I'm going to gas station, whatever, but like I can do accounting and whatnot. And I just told her this whole story and didn't know what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
Um, and then she magically, that one interaction, just listening to my sister and staying that place, kind of transpired into where Christina then recommended me to George, her husband, who was working at this construction company. And I remember I was so devastated from the Yelp interview that I went to that interview and they asked me, "What would you like to be paid?" And I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "I want to prove to you, I want to work for free and show you what I got." And they look at me like, "Never say that in America." And I was like, "Whatever, like I know my value and I'm gonna show you." But I took this bookkeeping job at dirt cheap, $8 an hour. I had studied some accounting in college and I was just able to really execute it. The reason I took the bookkeeping job is because I was like, okay, I know I have more to offer, but I'm not there yet. So let me take this job. And then I would walk around the office, talk in English to everybody because now I went to work. Like that
Yeah.
was work for me, was getting comfortable talking to people, making mistakes,
Yeah.
and doing that stuff. So that was the first job I took. Um, Went through ups and downs in that, kind of continued in accounting. Um, yeah, the rest of it. And then from accounting, I was also like part-time doing these fundraising gigs for people where there's this app called GiftSmart, which will basically, you know, how you go to a fundraiser where they have silent auction and stuff. They had basically they had taken the silent auction process and took it to an app, and our job was basically to check people in and do it. And I would just be at a check-in desk checking these rich people in that are
Yeah.
going to a ballroom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like kind of do that. So that was a side thing, and then from there, I went to. So through Christina, also I had met, I'll call it the love of my life, but my ex, and
Oh.
yeah, and it's kind. We're doing the accounting thing. Was with her, kind of more now as friends and stuff like that. But I still had no path, and then I hit the darkest period of my life, and then I came out of it by taking a sales job because now I was ready for a sales job. Like my English was better enough, so I
Yeah.
was like, okay, now I can talk in English.
Yeah.
I reached out to one of my old mentors, and I was like, hey, that dad worked in accounting with, and I was like, Scott, like, can I? You're at DoorDash. Can I, interview or something? Like, I'll love to do sales. And that belief that Scott showed in me, they gave me an inbound sales opportunity, and I just maximized this to improve my English, close some deals. The practice that I was looking for is, okay, my mind is telling me I can't do this, but I know I can close deals on the phone. And that was great practice because it was like $80 a day. 80 times I'll call people, hi, this is Wadan from DoorDash. And yeah, so from there it transcribed into, went to operations. Last year, almost had a team of 200 people, was going to Philippines to onboard them. And through my darkness, shortcomings, God somehow reprogrammed and repurposed me to where I sat on a plane back, came to Arizona, wasn't with DoorDash anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do. but I knew what I was not gonna do. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically a long-winded career path for me. So
Oh my God, that's actually so crazy. You mentioned a dark period of your life. Is that something you would feel comfortable sharing with us?
actually, that's one main reason I wanted to come on here as well, is because I want for everybody to know the person behind the face that they see, and the work that God's doing inside of me and outside of me that I want to praise through this. So that's definitely something I want to dive deeper into. And my hope through this story is, I'm scared a little bit because it does put me in a strange spot, being vulnerable at a grander scale. Because when my close friends know about this, and um, but sharing this, I think enables me to either, hopefully, I'm hoping that I would inspire somebody
Yeah.
to either contribute to the vision, buy into it, or if not, even just believe. If God can do this for me, then God can do this for anybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us all about it. What was going on with Wadan?
Cool. So we're going to the dark period. So 2019, had this amazing relationship. This person that I really kind of felt like was very platonic. Like I should say, like it's very. I don't know how to say. Um, Soulmate kind of thing,
Yeah.
where you know that one person that you're with, where when you're with them the whole world does not exist, and it's you and them versus the world kind of
Right.
thing. And she was Jewish by faith, and I'm very entrenched in my faith as a Muslim, and like my mother has instilled that a lot in me. And I had, they had told me not to be with her, but I had like forcefully like left my family to be with her. But then also like I'm very attached to my family, so it was like a back and forth, and
Yeah.
smoking a bunch of weed with my ex, and like we're just doing lots of partying and everything. And it kind of got taxing at a while, and I got prescribed Adderall. Um, and I took Adderall for 6 months, and it started messing my relationships up. I feel like I was an asshole, and it just made me a more focused asshole. It didn't really do anything other than that. And once I started seeing my life fall apart, like almost like I broke up and went back to my family. My family didn't accept me. I was like almost like felt very isolated in the world. Um, and somehow through my sin, through my darkness, God led me to the church. I went to Hillsong, and um, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just was in that church, and the music was playing, and I was going through all my pain, and I just let God in. I was like, let me just believe in this. Like, let me just believe in this wholeheartedly. Maybe this is true. Maybe this is not. Maybe my faith is true. But like, I didn't know at that point. I was so lost. So I took that and accepted that and tried to embody that fully. And went back home, took the Adderall, flushed it down the sink, um, without any consultancy or like asking doctors or anything like that, which I didn't know was a bad move. And that's when the manic and the psychosis kicked in, and I didn't realize that. And I just remember laying down there, and I was been to church, and I was like, God, you gave your life for us. I want to give my life for my people. Take me and like bring world peace. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and somehow ended up in Vegas, not to party, but I thought I had a friend there. I didn't realize what I was doing. I had like $200. I had a Jeep, drove down to Vegas. Um, Thought I was gonna meet the president. It was just like a very very like it's funny. I remember all that thing that like yeah, it just was my mind in that moment. I lived in that story, and I thought the world needed me, and God wanted me to be out there and change the world, and I need to talk to the president and do all these cool things, whatever. And then went to Vegas, ran out of gas money, called my friend, and then said they were gonna send me money for gas. Never got it, and but I was in Manic episode anyway, so I didn't know I was doing what I was doing,
Yeah.
and met this homeless guy on the street that I thought was my friend, and we went out to eat something, and um, I gave him the keys to my Jeep, and he said he'd be right back, and he went go, and I was sitting at a restaurant. I remember the check came, and I was like, oh, my friend's coming back, and he wasn't there, and I realized I asked the woman that day. I was like, hey, by the way, I came here with my friend, and he's not here. Like, I can't pay for this food. And she was like, it's okay, pay it forward. And I went upstairs to see if the Jeep was there. The Jeep was gone.
Oh my God.
That really kind of the only thing, and it's funny because in my Manic episode, I thought the world was under attack. Like I was saving the world. Like
Yeah.
like I was just so not in it, and um, yeah. And my family was killed and dead, so I had literally took all my possessions and phones. Like most of them were in the Jeep, and I just hid my phone somewhere under the rocks somewhere that I couldn't track back after it. So the only thing at that point I had was the clothes that I was wearing.
Yeah.
No ID, no nothing on the strip
Oh my God.
for 14 days.
What?
For 14 days, I was on the strip thinking my family was dead,
Yeah.
thinking that I was there to save the world. I would sleep under stairs on the street. Somebody would come kick me up, like, keep moving. Like,
Yeah.
nobody would let me even sleep. I was super sleep deprived. Anytime I would walk is when I would kind of somehow gather my sanity. So I kept walking and walking and walking. And it came to a point where I would just go into these casinos and hotels and just kind of go anywhere
Yeah.
I was going. And it's funny because like sometimes people will find out and kick me out. At other times, they would don't even know that like, I was taking showers at like spas of hotels, pretending like I was a guest. Like
Yeah.
I would just bank on that and like take a
Yeah.
shower and come out, and or like I'll go to the gym and like anytime would be on a bike, so I'll go to a hotel gym, and most of the time the gyms don't have like they confirm if you're a guest or not. So I will be on the spin like bike, and that will kind of bring that sanity back a little bit. But for 14 days, it was in and out, between what is happening, and I just couldn't connect to myself, and I
Yeah.
thought I was like in this supernatural kind of state of mind,
Yeah.
where it's just like on the streets learning this. I went to this Apple store. Since I was an accountant, the only things I remembered was the things that I really use a lot, which is the passwords that I really use a lot, the
Yeah.
emails that you really use a lot. My brother's phone number is the one phone number I remembered. Even that I messed up because his area code is 415, but I remembered 480. So anytime I would call this number, it would just not go to him.
Yeah.
And I just actually thought I didn't have any family, like they were dead because I had no contact with
Yeah.
Oh
anyone.
my God. Yeah.
And so when I went to the Apple store, there was this phone number, which I don't know why, and this is why I think God works in mysterious ways. I had outsourced that phone number to Google Voice. It was my old phone number, and my mom had that number. And I was in an Apple store at the mall, and I opened my email. I was like, I didn't have any money, and I was like, oh, let me file my taxes. Like it's like this is day 14,
Yeah.
where I'm getting a little bit of glimpse back
Yeah.
of like there's just basically sanity kicking in, right? And I filed my taxes, being crazy on the strip, and and as I was doing that, I opened this Google Voice thing, and I got a text. It says, "Where are you?" And that was my mother.
Oh my God. Okay. I have chills.
And it's funny, it's all there. And I said, I'm in Vegas. She's like, what you doing in Vegas? Whatever. And long story short, my brother messaged me. He's like, money is poison for you. And he sent me $70. And I was hoping they wouldn't ID me at the bus station. I used the $70 to buy a Greyhound ticket and some food.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I got into that Greyhound, I don't remember the whole journey because I was so sleep deprived that I woke up in Phoenix.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I woke up in Phoenix. My family then told me the only way they were gonna provide or let me in is if I went to this doctor, and I thought it was a doctor and thing. And then that was an inpatient clinic where they did like a psychoanalysis on me, like give me some meds and stuff like that. But I was like literally in a chair, like they wouldn't. So basically, the way it works is if you are in Manic or something, like they will take you to an indoor facility, but there's chairs. It's not a bed. You don't get a bed. It's a chair that's inclined, and you just have to sit there. And they keep giving you pills and everything, and they just kind of want to control you to a degree to where that they can send you to a more like a facility with beds and all these other things to integrate you back into the society. So then from there went to the inpatient thing. I still remember the interview with the doctor. I I thought I was, you know, when I went to church, I thought like I was kind of Jesus in
Yeah.
a sense, like, and it was back and forth coming. And I was like, hey, by the way, at the church they told me I was the Holy Spirit and without, and I didn't understand all
Yeah.
the meaning of it, but I was
Yeah.
manic and I'd been to church, so the whole application, it all just came so much at once.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize. And then, so when I was there, they literally asked me, what do I want? Like, because after doing an interview, they were like, you know, it can go either ways. He's either crazy or he's not. Like, and I just was like, I'll stay. So I decided to stay there. I was like, let me take this chance. Like, I've done all these other things that haven't worked out. Let's
Yeah.
see if this works out.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was in that inpatient therapy for inpatient clinic for 2 weeks, and then came out. Went back to my home. Felt like I failed. I wanted to kill myself. But then the one principle that I live my life with that really saved me was God does not put more weight on somebody than they can take. And I was like, God, you're putting this weight on me. There has to be meaning to it. Like,
Yeah.
I got to keep going. So then from inpatient, you go to outpatient. I was designated seriously mentally ill, SMI. So the way the state works is if you're designated SMI, the state gets incentivized. They get paid by the head. So they get paid for every crazy person that they designate as SMI.
Yeah.
So they have an incentive for you to stay in the system.
Oh.
But I am super grateful for the doctor I had. His name was funny. Is Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan.
Yo.
I'm telling you, his name was Michael B. Jordan. And Michael B. Jordan and I had these great conversations. He figured out real fast I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like, I was like, these meds are fucking me up. And
Yeah.
he was like, all right, I'll take you off the meds if you work out.
Mm.
And I
Oh, I
loved
keep
working.
getting chills.
I loved working out.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. So I hit the apartment complex. That at that time we lived in a small apartment complex. We're still trying to get our houses and stuff like that. And and I worked out. And then the only benefit that I ever received from it was a best pass. But through this process, me being me, I was like always self-reflecting and analyzing. And I was like, I always had this thing inside of me where I know, and most people do, and if you listen to yourself, like there's this feeling of greatness that God's put inside of you, and you just can't shake it. Like it's just no matter what room you walk in, you have that. Like
Yeah.
you just can't. Like you can be anything on the outside, you can have any interaction, you can have any, but that feeling was there, and I was like, Wadan, it's gonna be a burden on the state. Like that's an easy out.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want the fucking easy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I reached out to Scott at DoorDash, and I was like, Scott, I need a job.
Yeah.
I want to do sales. I'll do sales. And Scott took a chance on me. Nobody knew about this. God's miracle, because if they would have run, because I still had a lot of like legal stuff pending. If they would have, DoorDash could have literally not hired me, because I literally had a pending warrant in fucking Vegas when I got hired at DoorDash. But somehow the background check was there and everything, and they still hired me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was misdemeanor, and that kind of like, I started making these calls. That became my lifeline. Like that work was what kept me focused. Gave up a lot of the bad habits. all the bad friends, the people that were in my life, and went back to the Dr. Michael B. Jordan and all this festing. I was like, what do you guys give me other than a bus pass? Like, why am I an SMI? Why is the state paying you? Like, I typed this big email, and they decertified me as SMI like in one month. I have a letter. So I have a letter that says I'm crazy, and I have a letter that says he's not crazy.
Whoa.
Wow, that's crazy.
The switch up is crazy.
Yeah.
The switch up is crazy.
Yeah. So I just feel like through all that, I just feel like me being me, God wanted me in and out of this medical system to show me. Because even before this, on a weekend when I was with my girlfriend, I would always be like, what do you want to do? And she wanted to drink and do all stuff. Like, what should we do? I was like, let's go buy some burgers and give it to homeless people. Like, that's always been my calling. Like, I feel so much pleasure in just going out there and giving to the homeless people, like not expecting that you see the smile on their face or they're not expecting and stuff like that. So, they decertified me, really crushed it at DoorDash, still struggling with my mental, like I still have my demons. I fight them. But I feel like God just wanted me to see the medical system, and I feel like God wanted me to overcome everything that I've been through so I can then share with other people that are either in a mental rut or either are misdiagnosed, either on drugs that don't know what to do, either going through a heartbreak, like all that. Like, so I started listening to audiobooks, started doing, how to win friends and influence people, reprogram 21 Days of Mind Hacking, some of my favorite books. 21 Days of Mind Hacking by Mark Mason I don't think it's Mark Mason. Sir John Hargreaves. It's the most life-changing book ever. If you do the 21 exercises and meditations they have in that book, I've done those like 50 times. It will literally help you reprogram your mind. So for 5 years, I knew the old beliefs were not working. That had gotten me in that position. I had to reprogram my mind. I had to reprogram my old beliefs. And that's the book that helped me. And the pathway that God created for me was DoorDash. And what saved me was personal accountability. I do not want to be burden on the state. I want to earn my money. And that's when the game changed for me. It's crazy.
That is so powerful.
That is so powerful. I got chills that whole time. I mean, we had never heard that story before.
Oh, we should go like at one point, and this might be another whole thing, and I do want to write a book at some point to inspire all this stuff. But one thing, it's a movie. The whole 14 days is Vegas is 14 days of experiences, and it's a movie. If I told you I drove that Jeep into a fucking army base, Area 51, not knowing I was going, I had these army guys like, hey, where the fuck you going? I was like, oh shit, like I don't know what I'm doing, and I just got out. Like I remember that glimpse of it. And I remember going all the way to Area 51 and turning back around. That's when I ran out of gas. I'm not messing with you. I was literally, it was the most supernatural state of mind that I've ever experienced.
So do you remember it as a whole? You just remember small pieces
everything.
of it? Everything?
Whatever blips that came, like all the experiences, I remember. I remember pretty much that's the beauty of it. And that's why I think it's powerful, is because how can I be this person now and be that person then and still remember, right? Because if you're completely crazy and everything like that, like you wouldn't remember those things. But that's where I'm like, God wanted this whole thing. I almost feel like it was a reconciliation when I let God in. Because because I had these habits, right? I had smoking, drinking, relationship outside of marriage, like all these things that I was doing. That we consider in the society as either sinful or bad for you, but usually you don't see the outcome of that till later. But I think when you let God in, there's a little period where you reconcile. The old version of you dies into this new version of you.
Sanctification.
And that, I think, was my process was that. Of that. It was me being me. It had to be special. It was.
I know.
It had to be special.
So the guy ended up stealing your Jeep. basically.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They did found the Jeep later. It was like in a compound something, but this was 3 months after like I basically got him back on track and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just never saw it again. All the stuff
Oh
is
my
gone.
God.
It's so crazy because all my documents were in that Jeep too. Like I know the value of an ID because I did not have an ID for fucking 4 months.
Yeah.
And I lost my passport, my
Yeah.
ID, all my college letters that told me how cool I was, like
Oh, no.
you know, like
No, but
all
yeah, your
all the
documentation.
4.0
Yeah.
GP, like you know.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it, and this is God's grace on me, is the ability to see for the positive in every situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I saw that as God now showing me how to rebuild from scratch.
Yeah.
So I got my ID, I got my social security card, I
Yeah.
got my passport renewed, I
Board
got a
new.
yoga license, completed my master's degree after.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've come a long way since 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure
Look
have.
at that,
2018.
guys.
December 2018, and then that's when it started.
So then, okay, wow, that's insane.
crazy.
Dark, very, very dark period of your life. You started to come out of it, then you started to work at DoorDash. Now we're here
Yeah.
in a very, and it looks like a good place to me.
Well, can I rephrase? So, and this is something I read, and this is really beautiful. In retrospect, the darkest period of your life is the most beautiful period of your life.
Yeah.
That was the most beautiful period of my life. That was
So
the
transformative.
That's
Yeah.
the most incredible, amazing, supernatural, beautiful experience I could ever have, and the journey to come out of it. And even now, it's like, yes, we have all these things, but the reason yes, like we're happy, we're doing all these things, but to me, if you're not leaning towards better or you don't have challenges that you're overcoming, then you're basically decaying.
Yeah, I agree.
In a sense, right?
Yeah.
So that was a period of growth.
Yeah.
Growth, connection with God, finding who value of family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that journey to be found by God or chosen by God is never. I think there's like this idea that being found by God is just going to make your life so much
Easy.
easier. You know, you're going to have this relationship with God and everything is going to work out for you. But when you have that relationship with God, it feels like that is the time where the devil wants you the most.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's true.
The evil force, it's like spiritual
It
warfare.
is.
Like,
Constantly.
and it's because he doesn't want you, the devil does not want you to have this relationship with God, to then continue to share this information with other people, because now that we are saved, I mean, it's still hard. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but we're inviting people to church.
Yeah.
We're sharing our stories. We're bringing people,
we're
we're
spreading-
changing the
We're
entire
spread-
podcast.
Yeah, we're
to-
spreading our faith.
Exactly.
We're connecting with like-minded people who share the same values. and
Exactly.
Same faith as us.
So it's not meant to be easy, but it's very beautiful that you came out of this and you feel that way about that period of your life, because it was so important to now this period of your life and this season.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful and blooming and budding and forever growing.
Yeah.
So tell us now a little bit about where you're at now, what you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things I want to touch base. Like number one, if you want to fact check me, everything is documented.
Where? In the Jeep?
No, in different. Like everything's documented. Like
Yeah.
either whether that be through the mental health facilities, whether that be through the different arrests for petty crimes. Which again, like, but yeah, I just remember like I got arrested for eating at a restaurant and not paying a bill.
Yeah.
Like because
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do and I just didn't. I didn't know like that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't in the best state of mind. And it's all documented. And the second beautiful thing I want to tell you about is I was born Muslim and like I identify as Muslim. But I let Christ in, right? Like we believe in Jesus, and that journey of letting God into my life through the church is where God was like, go to your family, honor your mom, honor your dad, listen to them. And that's where it led me back to Islam, which is my faith, which is again we believe in Jesus, we believe in God. There's different differences, like very subtle, that a lot of the religious people will get into, but like that's not my focus. My focus is I see one God.
Yeah.
The same God that took me to church and saved me is the same God that took me back to my home and repatched my connection with my faith and brought me community. It's the same God that the Jews, Christians, Hindus, everybody worship to.
Yeah.
So, and that's the connection I value with that entity.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's basically it.
Ugh. Beautiful story. So yeah, now we're here. You're involved in a lot of different things in the community, which is how we met you. We met you at this event that you threw, that I had no idea that you threw at Hive Fit Club, which is the shirt he's wearing. And that Fit Club is here in Scottsdale, and it's a very interesting and different center for people to go, because it is tailored to like-minded individuals that, you know, are wanting to be better and do better. And it's very important for some people in their lives. So you're there often, but tell us now just the involvements you have in the community and how you feel like that's not only benefiting your life, but the people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important also how this whole transfer. I think it's all God. It's not me. I was on a plane to Philippines for DoorDash. We were onboarding a team of 200 people. And through that journey, I just had the worst. I just had like my dark side take the better of me. And it just ended up not being a good experience where I had to quit and then come back. And now I was back in town. I didn't know, like, because DoorDash was really near and dear to me, because that is what had saved me from my mental health and like all this stuff. And to having that fall again and not seeing a path forward, I did not know what I was gonna do. I knew what I was not gonna do, which is I had this corporate job with these 200 people. I just didn't feel human in that aspect. Like, you know, it just felt I was doing, and I was dealing with these human beings, but I was telling them what to do, and I was it's less of a human interaction. It's always about matrix. It's always about get shit done and stuff like that. And it just felt empty at some level of my existence, even though I was getting the check. I had worked for that position. I was salaried. I only was working 4 to 3 hours a day, and you know, getting a nice check. I now had a house. My family got me a house next to that, and like all these cool things that, you know, that was happening. And I know, and I have that Instagram story. I posted it. I put rerouting. So if you go to my Instagram, every story and every caption, that's basically a phase and state of mind and a journey that authentically I try to share with people. And that's basically the path that I'm going, the energy that I'm putting out there. Like that was a rerouting, and I knew God was rerouting me to something bigger. And so I came back, and the one thing I remember that kept me sane. So I met my ex at a run club. And because running has always been my like therapy. So there's funny, Riot AZ, like that's how I met Brock. So I started looking for new run clubs, and Riot is running is our therapy. That's literally what Riot stands for. And I went to Riot,
I didn't know that.
I just started running. I was like, I'm just gonna put my head down, keep running, and do these things that I said I was gonna do years ago when I was with my ex. She wasn't there anymore. I had to overcome that somehow, find different things to do. And I just kept showing up, not knowing what God wanted from me, and just kept being there for people. Be the person that wasn't there for me. Say hello to every person that was there, make sure they were seen, heard. They, you know, Randy, Josh, all the leaders at Riot, Chris, they were amazing. I met Brock. Brock. I remember Brock made a comment. I was like, this dude, whatever. But I was.
We're gonna put a picture of Brock so you.
So when I quit DoorDash, but I was overseeing my mosque at that time. So Brock and I then started working on some handyman projects from our mosque, and that we were saying and everything. So we kind of built that relationship there. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna test the theory. I'm gonna run with these guys. They were training for a 100-mile race, and I had just run a marathon, and I was like, let me test a theory. Like my goal at the end of the year is 50K. These guys are running 100 miles. If I hang out with these guys, let's see how far that takes me.
Yeah.
So I started running with them, and fast forward, I ran a 75K, which is almost 46.5 miles. 3 months before my 50K, just by associating myself with people that
Yeah.
have bigger
That's
goals.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I literally tried to, the whole reason I did that was to test that theory.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe there's power in the rooms that you're in.
Yeah.
There's immense power in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, to dive back. So right, and then I started going to run clubs, and in through this journey, I was house sitting for my sister in Colorado Springs. This was in 2020 when COVID had hit, and we were just coming out of COVID, like the people going back to normal life and kind of thing. And there was this friend group because I was just housing my sister. She was on a Euro trip. I was there for a month. It's funny how Colorado Springs is a pretty God town. Like it's this very God-centric town. But side note, that was but yeah, so I had these people that I met at a bar that invited me to Pickleball the next day. We're like, hey, we're hanging out, Pickleball, whatever, and doing that. So I went and I saw a friend group of like 10 people, and some people are playing Pickleball and others were just hanging out, sipping on the court side. It was just like the most. I was like, why is this not a friend group thing? But I didn't have any friends then. This was way before Riot, and I was still at DoorDash and everything. But that seed was planted in my heart by God at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Nothing come out of it. Come to Riot, get back into running, know what I don't want to do, take an odd job, just keep going and just focus on myself, achieve the best results for my body, for myself, and do hard things, move, and all these things, everything that was not outside of my experience, and like kind of focus on those things as compared to the job, the money. I was like, that stuff is gonna take care of itself.
Yeah.
I've done that. I worry about those things. That's how I ended up in these jobs that I don't want, because I'm coming from a place of fear, coming from a place of I want money.
Right.
But now it's like, no, I want to be better.
Yeah.
And then just had a bunch of friends in run clubs, Riot, then went to Unlisted, was another run club, Scottsdale Run Club, Jack, shout out. That's where I know Mary. I met Mary through the Scottsdale Run Club story, because my goal was I would go to Scottsdale Run Club. I was integrated in all these run clubs, and I'll ask people, what's your goal?
Yeah.
And they will tell me, I want to run a half marathon. I was like, yeah, you should come to Unlisted, or you should do, because Scottsdale Run Club is amazing to get people into the running groove and everything. But then, okay, where do you take them from there to a more serious running, like bigger goals and stuff? So I just started doing that just for like, I want to help people and kind of show them what I know. And I was like, why are these clubs not talking to each other and whatnot? But to me, they're just one big wellness and fitness community at that point.
Absolutely.
And I had a shit ton of friends because of who I was in that environment. And my buddy Alex Duke, he was one of the first people that actually shouted me out and was able to see that. And, he saw me what I was doing for the community. And that kind of instilled a belief in me. I was like, what I'm doing, I think there's something here. There's something here. But now I had a lot of friends, and I was like, whoa, Pickleball.
Yeah.
That thought from Colorado Springs hit me. And then Scottsdale Pickleball Club had pulling up, and they were posting all these reels and stuff. But it gave a lot of like a Scottsdale, like high barrier to entry. Like I felt like I had to be cool, or a Scottsdale blonde, or like I have to have a Maserati to be in this club or something, like even show up. Like I was scared, right? So I was like, wait a second. I have all these friends. I have all these cool ass. We're gonna do our own thing. So I met Barrett at Tough Training from Riot. And it's funny because I was looking for venues, and then Barrett was playing. Barrett's such a unique individual. He just makes difficult things look so easy.
Agreed.
He just does them. Like, and he makes them look fun and easy, and it's just a beautiful human being. And I went to him and I was like, "Can I come?" Because I was looking for course to play on, and he was playing with his buddies, and I was there. And then I shared my vision with him, and he said yes. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then he had the hiking club popping up back then, and he was also doing natty running and everything, right? So we're able to open that up. And then Mary. So it was Barrett. I'd met Mary, and then me. And then this was the game changer. So we already had that, and with a friends group for hanging out, and I started like putting the content out there, like showing the people about pickleball because I wanted to educate like everybody, like, hey, pickleball's cool, pickleball's cool. And I remember Mary had this paddle, and it had hearts on it. I was taking a video, and then she flipped it. It says, "Jesus knows you by your name." That I was like, this is gonna be a God center, like that. There's gonna be something supernatural here. Like we're gonna do this. We're gonna bring people closer to God, not by pushing God, but by bringing them community and wellness and connection and everything. So that was just kind of kept me going, and we kept showing up. We kept showing up. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just knew that there has to be some power in me showing up to the course. And every time I would not feel like going, I'll be like, maybe, just maybe, there's that one Wadan out there that's looking for the connection that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and then Pickle and Chill, baby.
And then that's when Pickle and Chill was born.
Pickle and Chill was born. So I was already talking about these ideas with Brock. Pickle and Chill was born in Shake Shack off the 101 in Scottsdale Road after a handyman session with me and Brock.
Wow. Wait, why'd you think of Pickle and Chill?
Because Brock just loves the word and chill. Like, he's a chill wagon wellness, and he's just like, and I was like, bro, like, Pickleball, what you call it? And he was like, Pickle and Chill. I was like, Pickle and Chill.
Pickle and Chill.
So I made this group chat, Pickle and Chill, and it was just like incredible. And then we just like, it was like, okay, this is gonna be Pickle and Chill is more like an education kind of page that would educate people about pickleball, and like, hey, that there's, because Netflix and chill was a big thing, but that I feel like people pick up on negative things very fast, and I think that was like a term that people laughed on. It was a negative thing, and at first, lustful thing, whatever, but kind of put a spin to it with like, all right, Pickle and Chill, like something like that just rolled off the tongue real fast.
It does.
Like, you know, God sent his people, and you know, it just kind of flipped the concept, and it's just now it's basically Netflix and chill, except for it's Pickle and Chill. You know, you just chill with friends, and all the other stuff's gonna take care of itself. So
oh my God, that is so amazing. I went to Pickle and Chill actually for the first time 2 days ago. And it was like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, you're just there and you're able to vibe. And in this time of our lives when community is so important, but wellness is so important, there's not a lot of opportunity for people to gather together. And we're building that. You're building that. You're a huge factor in that.
God is, you know, and it's not single-handed. I also want to give grace and praise to God, and then praise to the people that God sends to you, right? Like, people are in your life for a season, reason, or a lifetime. I strongly believe them, but they're all from God.
Yeah.
And Garrett, what a special dude. Barrett, of course, we all know. Mary, Laney, Brock, Mason, like all these guys that I met through this, the brotherhood that we've been able to build. Like, you know, now Joel and like, Jack's more integrated and everything. And, you know, the impact that Jack has made, and like he doesn't even know that, like, that Pickle and Chill is a byproduct of somewhat his influence, and like, you know, his contribution is in it, right? So the same, I'm assuming, with Pickle and Chill as well now, is like there's just changing lives, like somebody's life somewhere down the road is changing, that they met at Pickle and Chill or like something like that. So it's to a point, like, praise is not single-handedly, it's God's hand. I'm just a vessel for now.
But that's so beautiful that you do give all glory to God. I think that'll take us, all of us, a very, very long way. So just some closing thoughts here. This has been an extremely powerful story. I'm so glad and thankful that you shared it with us today. Anything you want our audience to look out for, look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we've shared the reason I want to be vulnerable and come out this journey is not to tell you guys how cool I am and like, oh, look at me now. Like, I still have my demons, I still have my struggles. Sometimes it's a miracle to wake up and show up. The reason to share this story is what we're building is we want to make Arizona the role model community and society for the rest of the world. And what we want to do with that, like, there's a wellness wave happening right now. The numbers are there. The social fitness stats are blowing up. Pickleball is also the fastest growing sports. I think it's a great vehicle to kind of integrate that. but also alcohol consumption is at record lowest, social fitness is at record high. That means people are looking for those values and connections. So it's gonna take a village to build this.
Yeah.
And I want to come on here and I want to share that the person that you're seeing on the courts addressing 200 people, 300 people, different avenues, impacting the masses. We're not the biggest influencers, but even if, the little bit we do, is a human being, just like you are, and just as special of the things that God is putting me in having me experience right now. I want to say it's possible for everybody. Am I there exactly where I want to be in my life? No. Am I probably gonna ever be there? I don't know. But I want everybody to know you don't have to be ready to make an impact. You can start making impact now and do what it does for you. Like if you came to a connection thing and you fostered a connection, all of a sudden you have a friend group of 50 people or like 25 people.
Yeah.
It's cool you're throwing pool parties, like doing all these stuff. Like now you have a circle, but come back and shake another hand, integrate someone else, be better.
Yeah.
Be, help them be better. I just feel like it's all gonna come together in a sense where people will have to come back, even if they go to like partying and all these other things that they're doing, that they would have to come back and eventually accept God and give. If they don't, they're just gonna have a miserable life.
Yeah.
Right? So it's inevitable. So we want to provide that consistent place for people to hang out and to be able to connect. So yeah, go on your side quest, fuck up a little bit if you want to, if you have to experience stuff, but don't stay there.
Yeah.
Right? If in your consciousness somewhere there is a single ounce of thought and it doesn't feel right to do something, then it's probably not for you.
Yeah.
It's not, and you guys are a living proof of that as well. Like, it's just incredible. I mean, I would love for you to share what and how this has transformed your life, but then I would love to kind of touch base on a couple of brands and stuff that are in the Valley that I believe are making some real impact in this wellness space that I would love for people to follow up with, contribute, help build. So yeah, tell about your transition.
So like we said in our other episode, we're just going through like a major shift in what we want to be putting out on our podcast and what we want to be sharing, and kind of how differently I feel like we not only feel, but like, just how we live our lives now compared to how we started our podcast in the beginning of the year. It's just been super crazy. By the grace of God, we've been able to experience so many different things, and we've been able to, I don't know, I feel like just really come into like the best version of ourselves. And it's not been easy. Like Miranda was saying, it's not been easy at all. It's every day, it's a struggle, but at the end of the day, like, we are here to live through the glory of God.
Yeah. And even just touching on the experiences in our community. For example, I had been wanting to go to Scottsdale Run Club for like over a year before I started going to Scottsdale Run Club. So it's like the seed was always in my mind and I always wanted to be better, but that whole duration of time that I wasn't going and wanted to go was still that time in my life where I was struggling, just trying to be the best version of myself and trying to get into fitness, trying to be healthier. And then we had gone to Scottsdale Run Club one day and then we didn't go back for like
months.
a month, like a couple months. And in those months we were still doing the partying, doing, lustful things and getting ourselves into situations that would end up backfiring in our lives and just causing us to feel negative emotions, feel depressed, feel down and whatnot. But then once we did start going consistently, we were influenced by the people that we were hanging around.
Yeah.
And so then it just created this environment for us to continue to want to be better because we were seeing the people around us be better. So my hope for the people that are going to these, whether it be Pickle, there's so many. The thing is, he got
many.
and chill house. Okay. So there's Pickle and chill. There's hike and chill, golf and chill, or sorry, whatever they're. Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
No, we can dive into the and chill brand and what we're building. But I also, like, just from your journey and what you explained, as well as divine timing.
Yeah.
for God to put us in this room together, think about it. Like the fact that you weren't showing up for a year, but you showed up just when you were needed. And
Yeah.
perfect. So as long as you have that seed and you know that you want to do something better, God's gonna take you there.
Yeah.
Eventually, not today, not tomorrow, maybe someday. The only thing that matters is the thoughts that you think to yourself when you're by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you're lying to yourself, you're probably not gonna get there.
yeah.
Right? But if you have those conversations with God and you're honest to yourself, I think you'll probably get there. God will take you there. The second
Yeah.
thing is if you ask God for a house, don't like there's something like that. Like don't expect to get a house. Expect to wake up with a shovel and a bunch of like concrete and stuff to build
Right,
that
to
house.
build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So this journey of whatever God you believe in is when you give your power to this, when you understand that you're not in control completely and that there is a supernatural being in power, and when you give control to that supernatural being, there's some work that's gonna happen inside of you, and it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're gonna lose people.
You're gonna
And
lose
Yeah.
things,
people
jobs,
are gonna laugh
and
at
yeah.
you. There's gonna be so much, but you keep shining through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I'm a living, walking proof of God's grace. From where I've come to what we're doing, it's nothing short of a miracle. For the same people that look at me now and talk to me and would love to work with me, or whose life I've impacted or God has impacted through me or through the club and through my friend group, if I would have said the same thing 5 years ago, you probably wouldn't even look at me. But I hope now you see enough credibility to believe what I say and hear me out. Move your body. Say hello to people. Be yourself and trust God.
Amen.
And watch the miracle. And it's out there. You just choose to look at the miracle. The miracle's in front of you.
Yeah.
Every moment you choose to look at what God does through every interaction.
Yep.
So that's basically
Yeah.
the main key thing.
God's glory. So plug your brands. Who we wanna plug?
Cool. So why? So if you like my story, if you have been kind enough, gracious enough to come this far to listen to me, and if you have an ounce of urge to want to make an impact or make a difference, please reach out. What we're building is called Enchill Haas, and that's a brand. It's because Pickle and Chill has just been such a success. Out of it, Bear's already doing hiking. That's hike and chill. We do hiking, paddle and chill. Julian, it's like connecting people to nature. We got Pickle and Plunge is more like a wellness pickleball thing, which you can play, have fun, and also be better. I took my first plunge, it changed my life. We got Wally and Chill, Golf and Chill. Look out for that. That's really cool. So we're creating something community for everybody, and we want to go into places where people think there's a high barrier to entry. Like when you go to golf, you don't, it's a very high barrier to entry sport. Like
Yeah.
either you don't have clubs, you don't have friends. Even if you're playing, you don't have friends to play with, like stuff like that. So that's what we do. So the Enchill Haas is your one place for Arizona for an immense amount of experiences, and I promise you, the two problems that you're not gonna have anymore is running out of events and running out of friends. The only problem that you're gonna have is which events to go to and
Yeah.
which friends to respond to.
Yeah.
So like we'll solve that problem for you. So that's what we're building as a team from the Enchill Haas side. The other brand, Revival, Joel, Jack, the more time I spend with them, the more I believe in what Joel and Jack are building. Especially Joel. So my brother passed away before I was born, and I've always had this longing of an older brother, and that was always a story that in our family existed of my brother passing away because he fell off the roof and his head was smashed and he died.
Oh my God.
And I never saw him, but Joel kind of gives me that big brother energy because he cares.
Yeah.
He cares. Have seen him go in rooms and be like, I'm not gonna give you my people's information. Like, and that's a hard thing to say when you're trying to achieve a deal or do something, right? The revival experience that she's building, like, look at that lineup, like, that's a
Yeah.
wellness lineup. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell? Like, I'm just like almost like analysis paralysis. Like, which one do I go to? Like, can I
Yeah.
be at all of it at once, or what's
Right.
up? Do I do the pool party? Do I hang out with the Divinity boys? Do I
Yeah. I want to hang with the Divinity
do I,
Boys.
do I go to the CYE workout? Like,
Yeah.
do I go the beautiful Abby, enjoy? Do I hang out with Mary? Like, what do I do? Like, it's just massively overwhelming, and
Yeah.
it's building something special. So revival wellness experience, like, I think if you're a raver, I love raves. Yeah, if you're into that and all this stuff, like, definitely try.
And we'll be
to-
there every event.
And our producer here behind the camera that makes this all happen will be DJing.
Let's go. That's revival. And then I really want to talk about the Hive Fit Club. People think I work for the Hive, or the only association that I have with the Hive is God. When I went to that place, I was skeptical. I was like, it's just a gym,
Yeah.
right? And then I heard Doug say, like, put the reels, like, surround yourself with winners and stuff like that. And I was like, huh, interesting. And then I joined because my friends were going. And I started hanging out there. And I saw these signs of God, like, everywhere. There's visual affirmations, there's
That's
godly
true.
messages,
There
there's
was.
about marriage, about wife. I was like, this place is special. I was
Yeah.
like, there has to be some sort of there has to be some sort of power here, because no gym in the world probably does that. And then I met Doug and Thea, and just the more I get to know them, the more I find nobody's perfect, but they're near perfect in my eyes. From what I've heard, they stand on their business, they stand on God. They've taken on a massive undertaking in the Hive when they didn't need to. Like, they don't need money, right? Like most people do it to drive revenue and stuff like that. So that's why if you value being in the room with high value people, or people that don't nickel and dime, then the Hive is for you. Because technically, amenities wise, like, you can be, even amenities are, like, the Hive is an immense amount of amenities. But if you're like, oh, value wise, Lifetime is cheaper, right? In that sense. But how many people in Lifetime greet you by your name? How many people treat you like a family? The event that I met you guys at was a direct result of me hanging out and working off the Hive and just presenting an idea to Doug and him taking a chance on it. And look, like, we're in this
huge.
podcast,
Yeah.
right? So that's the brand I believe in. But the most important brand that I really want to share with the world is Sweat Pals. Don't sleep on it. Salar and Mandy have done an incredible job to provide a platform for unifying almost the wellness community. And not only that, but providing people like me and other community leaders that are actually taking those steps to be able to monetize or provide, like, some value to them as well. Because you can do community service, but if I continue to do community service, I'm not going to have a roof over my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So there has to be some word of a platform that enables community leaders to, one, do what they really enjoy doing, to be able to find ways to make the most out of it. And that's what this platform is.
Yeah.
And you can have free events, you can have donation-based events, you can have ticketed events. But if you are on EDM train or, like, all these other apps for rave tickets and stuff like that, I would say this is the spot to be if you want to be better or make better life choices and surround yourself with the same party environment, but just in the wellness space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the three main brands. But of course, says without saying, Big Brother Mason. I super grateful for you guys having me. But,
Of course.
Thank you for coming on, sharing your story.
Yes,
It's been
thank
very
you.
enlightening for us. And I I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to go follow Wadan on Instagram because everything will be linked there, all of And Chill House and everything that's under that. And if you're interested in getting involved in the community, shoot Wadan a message, shoot us a message.
Yeah.
Everything will be in
Always there.
the description. Make sure to like this podcast, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more just interviews like this, experiences like this, where we get to really dive into why people are the way that they are and the value that they bring to the world. So thank you, Wadan.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.